What's going on, guys? My name is Ben. How are you guys doing today? I wasn't able to watch Apple's coverage, so I actually went onto Engadget.com, pulled out some information into a Word document, and that's how I'm going to do my coverage video today. So I do apologize. I would have liked to see the event. However, right now it is 6:09 p.m. At Eastern Time, and currently it is not on Apple's site yet, so it's not available to watch yet. So I'm just going to read off the information that I have right here. So let's first start off by Apple's updates. So the App Store hit 650,000 apps, and not only that, it had 30 billion downloads, and $5 billion has been donated to the developers who worked hard to develop these applications right here. Now, 225,000 are specific to the iPad. So there are 400 million iTunes accounts right now with credit cards, and paid $5 billion for all their app sales. So it's pretty much the same thing as donating it to the developers. Now, the MacBook Air has gotten refreshed, and now it has an Ivy Bridge processor, USB 3.0, and it's actually shipping today. And the Ivy Bridge processor can reach up to 2 GHz with a quad core of i7. And not only that, it has a turbo boost which can go all the way up to 3.2 GHz. And now, the FaceTime camera, previously it was VGA, now we finally have 720p. So it is now an HD FaceTime camera or an HD webcam on the MacBook Air. And as far as the resolution is concerned, for the 11-inch model, it's still 1366 by 768, and the 13-inch is 1440 by 900, and this has USB 3.0, and it can go all the way up to 8 GB of RAM. Not only that, 512 GB of storage, and the price starts at $999 up to $1,099, and it is shipping today. Alright, so next one. Apple unveils new MacBook Pro with Ivy Bridge. So it's running Intel's newer Ivy Bridge processor, and the 13 and 15-inch models can run up to 2.7 GHz with a quad-core i7, and it is up to 8 GB of RAM with a GeForce GT 650M base graphics, which is 60% faster than the previous model MacBook Pro. And it has USB 3.0. So for the base model of the 13-inch model, it does cost $1,099, and it costs $1,799 for the 15-inch model. And for the upgraded 15-inch model, it goes up to $2,199, and it ships today. However, it seems like the 17-inch model has been eliminated. And I did check Apple's site earlier to confirm this, and yes, I don't see any 17-inch model on there. And the 17-inch model isn't even available for the next generation MacBook Pro. So there was a little bit of redesign in the new MacBook Pro, in the next generation MacBook Pro, and this has a Retina display. It is 0.71 inches thinner than the previous generation MacBook Pro that is currently selling today. It's shipping today for $2,199. So as I stated before, it is 0.71 inches and weighs about 4.46 pounds. So this is actually, I believe, 25% thinner than the MacBook Air MacBook Pro that's being selling right now. I'm sorry for my mistakes here. Not only that, it has higher contrast ratios and better viewing angles and reduced glare. That's all thanks to the Retina display. And not only that, all of the stock applications are now able to take advantage of that new Retina display with those extra pixels. And Aperture and Final Cut Pro has been updated to be able to support the Retina display as well. So this is up to 16 GB of RAM, and it has an NVIDIA Kepler GT 650M graphics card in there, and it is up to a quad-core 2.7 GHz i7 processor, and a maximum of 768 GB of storage. Now, this is naturally solid-state drive SSD, and Apple claims that it'll have 7 hours of battery life with 30 days of standby time. And the one thing that I noticed is that there's no optical drive on this next generation MacBook Pro. I haven't thought about that. But 7 hours of battery life, I am not sure how accurate this is, because recently I've been playing with some of these MacBook Pro because I've been trying it out, trying to learn about it, so that way I can show them how to use it. And I only got about over 3 hours for battery life, and that was the 15-inch model. So I'm concerned about the battery life on this and how accurate Apple is for this. So this does have an Ethernet and FireWire 800 ports. However, you will need an optional Thunderbolt adapter to use. But you also get USB 3.0 on this new MacBook Pro right here. And not only that, you also have one HDMI port. And that is great, because on my Sony Vaio PC right here that you are seeing my face through, I do have a HDMI port on the left side of the computer, and I noticed that on the Macs they don't have that. Now with this next generation MacBook Pro, there is an HDMI port on there. Not only that, it has a thinner MagSafe 2 connector as well as a new fan. The MagSafe connector is basically the port where you can plug in your charger. Okay, so this starts at $21.99 for a 2.3 gigahertz with 8 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage, and it's shipping today. It is shipping today. Sweet. And not only that, the Retina display offers 3 million more pixels than your 1080p HD TV. That'll be put to the test. Okay. So, as I mentioned before, 2 applications are updated to support this new Retina display, which is Final Cut Pro and Aperture. Not only that, Photoshop is updated, as well as AutoCAD. So that way, you have more score Retina display support. Okay? And Adobe was working hard on this on Photoshop and Autodesk, so that way they can update AutoCAD. And Diablo 3 has also been updated to support this Retina display. Alright, so let's talk about their operating system, Mac OS, or if you want to refer to it as OS 10. So Apple sold 26 million copies of Lion, and they're not only that, they have a total of 66 million Mac users. So they have over 6 million, and that is like 3 times the number in 2007. So they had higher results since 2007 all the way up to 2012 right now. And another thing, if you guys know iOS devices, you have Serial Dictation. Serial Dictation has been integrated to the Mac as well. And this is coming to Mountain Lion, so Apple's new update from OS 10 Lion to Mountain Lion. Okay, next thing Apple discussed about was the Airport Express. So they have a new Airport Express, which is a dual band Wi-Fi. Alright, and this is actually a Wi-Fi router. Not only is it a Wi-Fi router, but you can put it in your pocket. So this is pretty much portable. And the dual band is 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz of wireless. This way, you'll be able to want separate public and private hotspots when you're online at the hotel or any other public place. I don't know. You just have your own Wi-Fi router, so it's a good thing that they produced this. You still have the audio out jack and USB 2.0 port. So that way you can share your sound and printing. I don't know too much about this device because I never owned one of these before. But not only that, it has an extra Ethernet port, so that way you can feed wired devices. And it's available now, and it's going to run you $99. Alright, now, Apple unveils new features for Safari, which is a web browsing application for the Mac, or just desktops in general, whether you're on a Mac or a PC. I don't know if this is integrated to the PC version as well, but this is integrated onto the Mac version. So it has unified search, iCloud tabs, multi-device syncing, and there's more features that I believe I didn't have right now. So Safari now syncs your web browsing info across all your devices. Alright, and these are the iCloud tabs. So it doesn't matter if you're on your new MacBook Pro and you're looking up on a web page, it automatically gonna save where you left off, so that way you can view the same page exactly where you left off on your Mac, on your iPhone, iPad, iPod Touch. It doesn't matter. And not only that, Safari got new multi-touch tricks, so that way you can swipe all the way out to tab view, and you can pinch on the page when you want to go back in. Not only that, Safari's mobile version for the iOS devices has the ability to upload images directly, and not only that, it has an offline reading list that downloads and caches anything you add. So that's pretty cool. And Apple introduced a new feature to OS X called Power Nap, which updates your Mac while it's sleeping. So it'll update the email, notifications, photos in the background, and when you have your Mac charged in or plugged in, it'll back up your Mac as well. And this does work for the second generation MacBook Air, for those of you that are wondering, and because Apple has confirmed this. Now, OS X Mountain Lion is gonna arrive on the Macs next month on July, and it's gonna be priced at $20. So for those of you guys that own a Mac right now and you want to update to Mountain Lion, you will get that chance in July. Alright, so we already discussed all the Mac stuff. Now let's talk about the iOS stuff. Apple has announced iOS 6, and they announced some cool stuff, such as you can launch apps just by using Siri, Facebook integration, Maps, and at least 200 things more that are coming to iOS 6. Let's start off with Siri first. So, Siri is a cool voice assistant, and now it has the ability to launch apps, and it knows a lot more information for sports, restaurants, and movie times. And not only that, Siri is actually going to be coming to the iPad. However, it's not going to be available for the iPad 2 and the iPad first generation, but it will be available for the new iPad, for those of you that are wondering. It has better Facebook integration with photos, websites, maps, and you have more sharing options. You can even like or share an app from the App Store and then have all your Facebook friends be aware, so that way they can download those same applications that you liked. Now, as far as the phone application is concerned for the iPhone, you have the ability to dismiss incoming calls with a swipe, or send a pre-written SMS, even set it to give you a reminder once you change your location. Alright? And a popular feature will be the Do Not Disturb feature, which is great because you are going to be getting Facebook integration, but you're going to be getting all these pop-up notifications on your iOS device. Okay, all you have to do is go into settings, and then where it says Do Not Disturb, you got to slide that on, so that way your notifications won't pop up. You'll still get them, but you won't be alerted or even light up in the screen. Alright, now, for those of you that have been using FaceTime for a while since the iPhone 4, FaceTime will now be able to work over cellular network. Now, think back on Apple's iPhone 4 announcement. They said that FaceTime will only be for Wi-Fi only in 2010. However, they did not keep up with their promise because they were not able to get FaceTime over 3G in 2011. And the only time you were able to do that is if your device was jailbroken, unless you were living under Apple-stocked iOS. You don't get that option. And 2 years later, now you're able to use FaceTime over cellular network. So it's great that Apple does that. Not only that, it's finally here for those of you that use FaceTime a lot. And if you wanted to video chat over cellular, you could have just used Skype or Frang. I don't know. Alright. Sharing images got a little bit easier with PhotoStream. So that way you can choose your pictures, choose the friends. Alright, well, you know how Apple loves to brag. they bragged again in the middle of the conference. So let's see what they have to say. They sold 365 million iOS devices. Not only that, they have 140 million iMessage users. So they moved 365 million iOS devices, and 80% of them running iOS 5. So there were more devices being sold that were running on iOS 5 than the ones that were running on iOS 4, 3, 2, 1. It don't even matter. Why am I even going all the way back anyway? Alright, so 140 million users are iMessage users, and not only that, they are sending more than 1 billion messages each day for a grand total of 150 billion SMS and MMS missives. Jeez, why do people have to text message? I hate text messaging. Not only that, Siri has expanded into no less than 60 countries. So they expanded over 60 countries. Now, Apple teased this new Siri feature from what I read on Engadget.com, and it's called Eyes Free, which is actually integrated into cars. And it's basically to boost up your safety, so that way you can just tap a button on your steering wheel to activate Siri without having to reach onto your iPhone or your iPad, or no, not iPod Touch. Why was I about to say that? Because doing that is very dangerous. Now, here are the cars that are going to be supporting this, or the car companies, whatever you want to call it. The cars that are going to be supported are BMW, GM, Mercedes, Land Rover, Jaguar, Audi, Toyota, Chrysler, and Honda. So those are the cars that are going to be supporting this eyes-free feature, and in the next 12 months, and that's coming in the next 12 months. That's what I meant to say. Now Apple demos Passbook, and Passbook is basically boarding passes and a shop for tickets. So it's basically, you have like a Starbucks gift card or something, and yeah, you can use Passbook and then like just scan it to get your coffee. And not only that, but in terms of the airline industry, that can be your ticket. Like if you lost your airplane ticket or something, just pop it up on your phone and then have them scan that. Alright, so let's talk about Maps. Now, there were rumors about that Apple was going to get rid of Google Maps, and that time has come, and the answer to that question has been confirmed. Apple is not going to be using Google Maps anymore, and instead they will launch their own map application. In addition, they will have turn-by-turn navigation, and that's exciting coming from to an iOS device, because when Android was first released, it already had turn-by-turn navigation. It took the iOS devices 6 years in order to get that, and they will not be using Google Maps anymore to do this. So this includes 100 million different business listings, and Yelp is integrated into this, and of course turn-by-turn navigation, and it collects data to give out traffic information and any rerouting that is brought to your attention with a pop-up notification. Not only that, this is rendered into full 3D. Alright, now another thing Apple announced, but I haven't gotten too much into it, and it's called guided access. So it's basically it limits some of the access for you. So for example, if you're a teacher or something and you want the students to test out an application because they're into programming or stuff like that, you can limit that access to not exit the testing app, but keep them in that same testing app in order so that way they can keep testing it without having to jump into a different application and get off task of their homework. And we wouldn't want that from the students, now do we? Yeah, we don't want that, especially too many kids out there are terrible. Alright, what am I saying? Alright. Now, Apple, I don't know if this was introduced in their conference, but I did see it on their website, but I'm going to keep it on here anyway. Apple introduces a new iPad Smart case. Now, you guys know the smart cover that was developed since the iPad 2, and it now carried over to the new iPad. Now, Apple has a new case called the iPad Smart case. and this is going to run you $50. But not only does it cover the front of the iPad, but also the back, so that nice aluminum back will not be scratched up if you were to buy this case. So iOS 6 is coming in the fall, and this supports the iPhone 3GS, the iPhone 4, the iPhone 4S, the iPod Touch 4th generation, the iPad 2, and the new iPad, the iPad 3rd generation. So the iPad 1st generation will not be supported, not even the iPod Touch 3rd generation. However, the iPhone 3GS is still getting its updates, which is very surprising to me. I thought they would be done by now, but they're not. Alright, so this was the recap video for Apple's WWDC on June 11. What are your thoughts about this? I say they got some pretty good stuff on here. And I do have some thoughts about this, however that'll be in a later video. Anyway guys, this was the recap of Apple's WWDC on June 11, 2012. If you guys want to stay on my channel for my thoughts video, please hit that subscribe button above, so that way you'll be notified when I post that thoughts video. Not sure when I'm going to post it, but I will do it. And for those of you guys that want to stay updated with me, follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/BenISLGuy. I will see you guys in the next video. You have a good day now.